A very good evening and welcome to the Cardiff City Stadium, the latest venue for the latest friendly for Wales's women and the second game in charge for new manager Gemma Granger as she looks ahead to the draw for World Cup qualifying on April the 30th. That is a fortnight on Friday. It's a fine evening and hopefully a fine game of football ahead. Let's take a look at the teams then, and we'll start with Wales. Gemma Granger makes one change from last Friday's defeat to Canada. Tottenham captain Josie Green comes into the starting 11. Lily Woodham drops to the bench in a move which will see her Reading teammate Rachel Rowe go to left back. And as far as Denmark are concerned, well, they're ranked 14 in the world. Were runners-up at the 2017 Euros, but haven't reached a World Cup since 2007. Captain Pernille Harder of Chelsea wins international cap number 124. And at the back, another English-based player, Everton's Riki Seveka. In all, 4 changes from Thursday's friendly win over the Republic of Ireland. In a moment, the teams will make their way out onto this fine surface at the Cardiff City Stadium. And it's a very good evening to Gwennan Harris, the former Wales international, who is once again, I'm sure, looking forward to this one and another big test for Wales and for Gemma Granger.
Yeah, very much so looking forward to this one. I think this may be a bit more of a balanced game compared to the Canada game, although still, as you said, a very big test for Gemma Granger's second game in charge. Denmark are ranked, as you said, 14th in the world, I think 9th in Europe, so a very good side. They reached the European Championship finals back in 2017, losing out to the Netherlands, which goes to show, their pedigree. However, they are probably looking towards the World Cup qualifying campaign. Will be ranked in the second pot so could be a team that we may come up against, as we'll probably be ranked in the third pot.
Yeah, that is a fortnight on Friday. Big calls to make for the Wales management, of course. Whoever they pick, they then have to negotiate the fixture list, and that can be a key part of qualifying, of course. More teams eligible for the World Cup finals when they take place in New Zealand and Australia. So a big moment, really, a fortnight on Friday, a big few weeks ahead for Wales's women. Change of scenery here this evening. Of course, the last time Gwennan and I were commentating from across the road at Leckwith, which was a fine pitch, I have to say, but this altogether is in many ways the home of Welsh football, home of Welsh international football.
Yeah, I think it is now, especially with obviously the men playing here and stamping their ground out on here as well. But no, the pitch is like a carpet, so no excuses in terms of the players. I'm sure they'll be very excited to be able to be playing on this type of surface once again. And with the way I think Gemma Granger is wanting to play, a more possession-based style game, getting players higher up the pitch, changing, reverting from under the last manager with a 5 at the back, playing with a 4-3-3. This will suit the Welsh girls.
The team itself is not a drastic change from what we saw last Friday. A few positional changes, of course one personnel change, but a few positional changes with Rachel Rowe slotting in at left back.
Yeah, she's adept to playing there. She can play anywhere, to be honest, across the park. She's played many different positions for Reading. She's a very versatile player, so I think probably Gemma Granger's looking at her experience there, possibly coming up against Larson from Aston Villa, maybe Nicole Sorensen as well from Everton, who's been playing really well, good young talent, so might bring her experience there. And then lovely to see Sophie Ingle step into midfield from central defence and gives an opportunity to Josie Green to put her mark down for a place in the start 11 continuously.
Hey, you mentioned Sorensen there, one of the English-based players with WSL experience, and that will count for a lot in international football, of course. The other name who we mentioned during that team news of Chelsea, Pernille Harder, another big name in international football, 124th cap this evening, 64 goals for her country.
When you just say her name, so many people know about her. She is an exceptional talent. It's been really good to see her playing in the Super League. It just goes to show how strong the Super League is, that it's attracting world-class players, European Player of the Year to the league, and it'll be a real big factor for Gemma Evans and Josie Green. Big test for them this evening.
And the match officials led by Stacey Pearson of England And here come Wales, decked all in red. And what a test against Danish opposition this evening. Sophie Ingle leading out the team. Of course, it was Kaylee Green last Friday in celebration of her 50th cap. It's 51 caps for her this evening, and there will be a special presentation for Kaylee receiving that 50th cap, which is well deserved.
Oh, hugely well deserved. You know, it's hard enough to get recognised to play for your country one time, but to go on to play over 50 times is a huge achievement, and it's lovely to see that that'll be recognised properly this evening. Just unfortunately that your family can't be here to witness it live.
And we should point out that international footballers don't receive a single cap for every game that they play, a physical cap, I mean. Some people may not know that, so no, it's with landmarks that you get received.
Yeah, a lot of people just assume that you get one for each time you play, but no, it's one for each season. So obviously if you've played for 10 seasons you get 10 caps, but if you reach a major tournament you'll then get some commemorative ones as well.
And we will have the national anthems in due course as well. And the Welsh FA do such a sterling job when fans are absent to have the anthem pumped in artificially, if you will. And what a moment this is for Kaylee Green, being presented her 50th cap by Laura McAllister, the former Wales captain, who is running for election for FIFA, and herself a very inspirational figure in Welsh football, and that will mean the world to Kaylee to receive that from someone of Laura's stature.
Oh, without a shadow of doubt, we couldn't ask for anyone bigger within Welsh football to be presenting it, and obviously we all wish Laura the best of luck. We all think that she is deserving of a place.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Wales.
Well, even without fans inside the Cardiff City Stadium, it is an anthem as ever which raises the hairs on the back of your neck. The Wales players arm in arm as they prepare to take on the test of the Danes, who are in all white this evening. Wales in all red. It's about as traditional as you can get. And for Wales, more standard team photograph this evening. They sometimes mix it up a bit. In terms of the formation then, that hasn't really mixed up all that greatly from what Gemma Granger put out last Friday, although, as you said, when Sophie Ingle, the captain there with the pennant in hand, standing next to match official Stacey Pearson, she is in midfield this evening, and, well, whether it's midfield or defence or even in goal, Sophie Ingle is as important as in any position for Wales.
Oh, hugely. That's the reason she's the captain. It's just she leads by example in the way she plays. You know, she's maybe not a shouter and a screamer, but just the way that she can drive the girls on with her calmness more than anything. You know, she's really composed, and it's great to see her stepping into midfield. I think that's something that's really important for Wales moving forward. If you want to play this possession style game or more of a possession style game than we're used to, it's really important that we've got her slotting into that midfield position. And we've then seen Angharad James given more of a licence to go forward and support Jess Fishlock, who's playing in a more advanced role like last week, which I do think we'll get the better out of Jess, and she'll get the better out of the forwards then. And we've seen Kerry Holland then just pushing from that midfield position up into a wide area for her second cap. I thought she had a tremendous debut last Friday.
Both teams involved in a huddle, and both teams will be wanting to go into the draw for World Cup qualifying a fortnight on Friday off the back of a victory here and a bit of confidence as well. You never quite know what you're going to get in that draw. You hope to avoid some of the big guns, but both teams similarly ranked. Wales 31st in the world, Denmark 14th, but have experience of major tournaments, and of course were runners-up in 2017 at the Euros. Referee Stacey Pearson blows her whistle, and match officials and players take a knee in protest of racism in all its forms, not just in football. We're about to get underway here. Gemma Granger's second game in charge for Wales, and standing over the ball for Denmark, Larsen kicks things off, and Wales on this pristine surface at the Cardiff City Stadium will be looking to move that ball around in the way that Gemma Granger wants to encourage.
Yeah, certainly. You know, that was a big part of the performance that we've seen on Friday night. That, you know, we're transitioning into a team that wants to play a more possession-based game, which I think, you know, is only positive with the quality of the players, especially the technical players that we have with Sophie Ingle and Angharad James as examples of that in the midfield.
Trig standing on the ball at the moment, and down the channel for Gemma Evans to come across to try and dispossess. Kerry Holland has tracked back, second cap for her, Liverpool player. Ingle picks it up in midfield, and Wales on the break and moving the ball very nicely. Fishlock beautifully over to Harding. Well, already Wales looking very positive a minute into this game. Yeah,
and that's the difference already from, as I said, from possibly a couple of times ago. Just that intent to want to get on the ball, but play passes quickly as well. Look up, play those passes in, breaking lines. You know, and you've got the players then, as we've seen with Jess Fishlock, picking it up, turning and picking players out. Tash Harding there. I'd like to have seen Tash Harding just drive a little bit further onwards there. I think she had, you know, she's got good pace and she's threatening there, but just try and drive more and win something a little bit higher up.
Well, you can see for the Danes, the target woman very much is Harder of Chelsea, teammate of Sophie Ingle. But it's Wales getting on the ball with a great deal of confidence in this opening 2 minutes. And it's over with Rachel Rowe, who can play in a more forward position, but also as skilled as a fullback as well, the Reading player. Here's Rhiannon Roberts. Gemma Evans. It's going to go long. Well, it came off a Danish player, and Holland could be in here. Well, it was Boy who had to recover, and Wales have had a very positive start.
Yeah, a really purposeful start. You know, trying to keep possession and pick players, pick some of the Denmark players out of position by keeping the ball, and then when they feel it's on to go, it's on to go. Kayleigh Green got an important flick on there, and then we see more of an attacking licence for those attacking players under this system, with Kerry Holland making the run in behind then. There's been plenty of space for them now this evening because of the back three that Denmark are playing. If we're playing three forwards up against them, there's going to be plenty of space for Kerry Holland and Natasha Harding.
Well, Kerry Holland, clearly after her first Wales goal on her second cap. Here's James with the corner. Well, far too close to the goalkeeper. Christiansen, first touch for her. And this is where Denmark could be dangerous, but Wales giving as good as they're getting. Harding failing to control it there. I think Denmark may be surprised by Wales coming out of the starting blocks very, very quickly here.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be that surprised if they watched the game on Friday in terms of the intent. But certainly, you're not going to find many clips of Wales over maybe the last couple of years where, we've been so positive and trying to pass forward bravely like that.
It's a free kick against Christiansen. Green with a tackle. And Josie Green will... well, I thought she was going to see yellow there. Referee Stacey Pearson opted just for a talking to.
Yeah, I think it's quite early in the game. First foul was on. She just got sucked in then, but and drawn to the wrong side. So Christiansen did well just to, draw her into that position. But, just enough experience between her there to not let Christian past her.
It'll be Sorensen of Everton. And it was a teasing cross. It wasn't really an accurate one. And I think Laura O'Sullivan saw it all the way. Well, we talked last Friday, didn't we, about how much Wales will benefit playing teams like this. Canada in particular last Friday, a truly world-class outfit, even though it was a 3-0 scoreline against Wales.
Yeah, I think it's more that, obviously the scoreline is disappointing. You don't want to be losing the manner of some of the goals. However, if you look at some of the pieces of play that Wales did, it was very, very good, very promising going forward. It's not, this new way of playing is not something that's just going to click and happen straight away. It's something that's going to take a little bit of time, but it's just about keeping patience with it and ensuring that you are sticking to the game plan.
Larson finds Sorensen of Everton. Poor pass. And Rachel Rowe break it away for Wales. Kerry Holland's pass was a bit too pacey for Harding, but it was a foul and a free kick for Wales. It has been a case of blistering counter-attacking football from Wales so far. Can they convert that into goals? It's been a positive start. Ingle with the free kick. Fishlock has seen the run of Rowe. Holland over there too. Fishlock again. They're trying to find a way through. Well, there are gaps perhaps for Wales to exploit here. But when you commit so many women forward, there is always the danger of the counter-attack. Yeah,
certainly. I think Sophie actually did quite well there just to stop and delay Pernille Harder making her turn back, and giving time then for the Welsh players to recover back into their shape.
And Rachel Rowe will be in no hurry to clear this one away. Back to O'Sullivan.
You can see in terms of the Danish team, they're not pressing up quite as high as the Canadian teams on Friday. Canada, as soon as Wales received the ball, they were pressing really, really high, so it was difficult for Wales to impose any type of passing game at time, because they were under so much pressure straight away. But Denmark had just given them a little bit more space at the minute, which is obviously just, you could see the Welsh players already just settled, calmed into the game, and getting more confident by having the ability to just pop the ball around at the moment, everybody get a touch of the ball and just get a feel for the game.
And we thank you for joining us on this stream of Wales against Denmark, International Women's Football Friendly. O'Sullivan for Wales. Kayleigh Green that is, has dropped deep. Slight mistouch from Roberts, and there's another one. Took too much time, and you can't give...
the left foot to be taking the free kicks, but then you miss her aerial presence, because she's a lot taller than most of the Welsh players, and that's what she brings there. I don't know if she was meant to flick it all the way on, or if she's just trying to get a flick onto any other Welsh player, but certainly got a good connection with it, and very nearly ended up in the back of the net.
And Christensen was at full stretch there, and here's James with the corner for Wales. It's a floating one to Harding, falls to Ingle. Well, every time Sophie Ingle picks the ball up in that sort of territory, you kind of raise off your seat. Wales working hard to win it back, and they do so through James.
Yeah, when you've got a Puskas, a FIFA Puskas nominee in Sophie Ingle for goal of the year last year, in that area as well, on her left foot, and when it's lining up like that, your eyes do open up thinking that she might be able to connect. But I think they were actually complaining, they thought it was a handball there.
And a yellow card for Natasha Harding. Well, it was a cynical challenge. It was one, I think, intended just to stop the momentum of the Danes going forward there and hitting Wales on the break, but Natasha Harding will have to be careful for the rest of the game now. Veg. Didn't have too many options, did find Snurl. And Sorensen seeing a lot of the ball on this Danish left. Good one-touch football from Wales. Green couldn't find Fishlock.
Yeah, good intent once again. I think that Kaylee Green, that was a hard ball into it from Angharad James up at her chest there. She did well actually to get the original touch, but when the ball's coming in at pace like that, to try and turn it off to a player is quite a difficult skill. But again, you could see just the discipline of the Welsh back four there, which is something different for them. They're used to playing in a five, so something that they're getting used to as well, playing in the four, trying to get good relationships, good combinations going.
Sorensen, who gets to the byline, and over the head it goes, over the bar it goes. Well, it was Trig who came in from that right-hand side, and it all was made by Sorensen. Teasing cross.
Yeah, got to try and stop that cross, but to be honest, that should be 1-0 there. In that position, 6 yards out, you should be heading the ball back down into the floor, make it more difficult for the goalkeeper. But Rachel Rowe just needs to be aware. She's just caught on her heels there with the oncoming Trig. Getting the advantage with the momentum she had going into the jump.
The ball from James was a heavy one. Well, Denmark have had a few chances, but arguably Wales have had the best chance so far. That header from Gemma Evans, a looping one, and a backpedaling goalkeeper in Christensen putting it out for a corner. Denmark have not qualified for a World Cup since 2007. Have Olympic experience though over the years.
Well, I think it would have been, the last World Cup would have been
out to the US.
Well, no, in France, because they had the...
Oh, it was a good save. And cleared away.
A good save down low there by Laurel. So just going back to that point, obviously they had the standoff with the Danish FA, didn't they? So they got given one game, given to Sweden, which they ended up losing out of going to the World Cup to Sweden. So it would have been interesting to see if they had played that game, because obviously, as you said, they haven't qualified since 2007 World Cup, but they would have been close in that last campaign if they hadn't decided to look at the bigger picture, so to say, in terms of equality and pay.
Absolutely, there's been a lot of politics, hasn't there, in Danish football, Danish women's football, and it's got quite ugly between officials and players. But Denmark here in Wales looking to beat this Wales team as Ingle goes to ground and wins the free kick.
Yeah, it's the importance of having players like Sophie Ingle and Angharad James in those positions, just sitting in front of the midfield there. Their job is to protect the back four and to screen those passes in, to ensure that they're blocking any passes that can go into the forwards, like we've seen Sophie Ingle intercepting there and winning possession of the ball back for Wales.
Josie Green of Tottenham Hotspur to take this free kick. They've opted to find Evans. It's an early pass down that channel to Kerry Holland. Jess Fishlock, you'll notice, and for observers of Wales' women's team over the last few seasons, you'll notice that Jess Fishlock playing in a much more advanced role in these 2 games under Gemma Granger. We've seen Jess play in a more sort of playmaker role as a midfielder, but helping out the attack this evening. And Ingle very much controlling that midfield, plays it to Rowe.
Yeah, well, Jess started out her career as a forward, you know, so she knows she's got plenty of attacking skill to the game, but is a good box-to-box midfielder as well and can do the dirty work just as good as the attacking work.
Fishlock takes a touch. Oh, she was looking for the free kick, but she didn't get it. And the break is on for Denmark. Veggie looking for Harder. Veg again in support. Larson waiting in the middle. I think Wales not opted to just lump it forward. They are looking to play out from the back. And here's Rachel Rowe.
Yeah, it was actually an important piece of defending there by Jess Fishlock, because both centre-halves actually been, so Josie Greener and Gemma Evans has actually been sucked across. Gemma Evans in particularly by Pernille Harder's run, and there was quite a big gap there with, you know, one of the Danish midfielders, I think it was Snell, running on, so that was an important interception by Fishlock. But yeah, as you said, you know, Wales are happy enough to just pop the ball about, and this is something that is a little bit different to them. You know, they're not used to doing it. As I said, it'll take time, but so many promising signs already.
Great turn from Harder, and that's a great pass in towards Larson, and so close to 1-0. Well, there we saw for the first time this evening the skill and invention of Pernille Harder, and it really opened up then for Larson, but she just put it wide. Yeah,
superb way to pass as well in by Harder, the way she just turned the midfielders easily, and then a great way to pass and a great run across Gemma Evans by Larson. You know, she timed that run really well, good connection to go back across, but luckily for Wales the accuracy wasn't quite there.
Well, that is a let-off. Back to Christiansen. To make that vital save from Gemma Evans. Denmark beating the Republic of Ireland last Thursday in a friendly. Denmark penned in here, and Wales working hard off the ball, as we saw against Canada. Boy.
Yeah, just see the players interchanging positions as well, the forward. So Tash Harding taking up centre forward role, where Kaylee Green then is coming to play on the right side. You know, that's an important aspect of the game as well, that you can be fluid in attack.
Sorensen's cross to Harder. Got up well, the Chelsea player. And that header a whisker away from finding the top corner.
Yeah, just like to see one of the Welsh defenders take a bit of responsibility there. Who's marking Harder? If she's made that run in off the back of the shoulders in midfield, you know, if she's been passed on, then someone needs to take responsibility. Otherwise, those central defenders need to be telling their midfielders, and James, Sophie Ingle, where are you? You should be picking up. But as well, for me, you've got to stop the source. You've got to stop that cross, get tighter to make that cross more difficult.
Pernille Harder, 28 years of age, and as a professional footballer, that's sort of level of your prime, really. And she's got many years ahead of her in this Danish team, as has Sorensen. Short pass to Snell, could be hit by Gunge Pedersen. Well, we're starting to see the Danes pinging about it here. Good interception from Rowe. We can see how comfortable they are on the ball, Denmark. They're starting to impose themselves a bit more, which, in fairness, was to be expected. There will be periods like this for Wales. They've got to weather a storm at times. Sorensen. Fishlock working hard to try and win the ball back. Veg. You just see how hard Wales are working here, trying to force the Danes into mistakes. Boys, chipped pass looking for Larson, and the looping shot at the end from Snurl. Well, that's 2-3 chances in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's definitely warning signs, isn't it? Yeah, I think Wales did well initially, a lot better when the ball got out wide, got a lot tighter there. Rhiannon Roberts, Jess Fisher getting tighter, enforcing that the ball is played backwards, forcing them to go back. Denmark nice and patient, keeping possession of the ball, and then Pernille Harder's movement once again causing problems, and that late run in from midfield from Junje this time, the Juventus midfielder.
It's a team littered with international club talent. There's O'Sullivan. Here's the ball over the head of Harrod James, who of course has a North Carolina adventure to look forward to. She will be going out to the United States to enhance her career. But as proud as anyone to wear that Welsh jersey. A proud Welsh speaker as well, like you, Gwenan.
Yep, she's Ysgol Pwllheli pupil, same school as Joe Allen, and they're quite similar in the way they play as well. But yeah, Anghar's been doing a lot of work for Radio Cymru as well. Recently, as you said, very proud, passionate Welsh speaker. But it's been a really important player for the Welsh team, especially in that period where Jess Fisher was actually injured. I really felt like Angharad James stepped up. She was the one that you know, set the tempo for Wales.
Harder is free here. Rowe with the clearance. Well, Wales guilty there of a few sloppy passes. Don't want to let Denmark have too many chances. Here is Saveka.
20 minutes in, the first 10 minutes was very promising for Wales, and then, you know, the second 10 minutes, then Denmark have definitely, you know, settled into the game, being patient with the ball, just pushing Wales back a little bit further. Wales more on the back foot now.
Boy.
But they're causing different problems from what Canada you know, gave, and then that's what you want out of these friendlies. You want to be tested in different ways so that you're better prepared going into the World Cup qualifying campaign, which will begin in September, you know, with the draw at the end of this month.
Katie Green almost getting on the end of that slow pass from Veg, but did reach its intended target of Boy. Well, Wales can't get near the ball at the moment. Really is Denmark who are toying with the Welsh players at the moment. Roberts with a clearance which goes straight into Denmark's possession. And it is with Snurl. Harder, Snurl again. Let's look at that pass of Treach. But the break is on. Here's Kerry Holland.
Yeah, she just needs more options now.
That's a lovely pass. Oh, you could see what she was trying to do. Fishlock had made the run. But down the other end, the flag remains down for Harder. And that's 1-0. Wales completely caught on the break. And it's Pernille Harder of Chelsea who gives Denmark the lead.
And you knew as soon as that ball was going through, when you looked at the number on the shirt, saw it was number 10 Harder, you knew that was going to end up in a goal. You know, she's just got the calmness, the composure to just take it past, you know, and slot into net. But I think Wales will question again. You know, the first goal they conceded against Canada came from, you know, a fairly straightforward ball from deep. They need to ensure that, you know, if they're seeing that pass, they need to drop off earlier. It is a big evening, you know, for the two centre-halves, Gemma Evans and Josie Green. I don't think they've ever played together before. You know, it's just about them understanding each other's game, just developing that partnership. You know, Josie Green actually doesn't play her club football in that position, so somewhere that she can play, but it's just a new challenge for her. It's just about taking time. But Wales will just be, as I said, be disappointed that, you know, it's a straightforward ball over the top, which, you know, you should be dealing with far better at this level.
Her 65th goal for Denmark, Pernille Harder. And it was well taken as well. O'Sullivan did the right thing, tried to close the Chelsea player down early, but it was her skill and composure that was on show in the end.
Yeah, you question a little bit maybe Laura O'Sullivan's starting position. Could she be a little bit higher up the pitch, but she did well, as you said, to try and close the angle. But the composure of Harder, she's been in that situation so many times, as you said, with over 60 goals for her country. You know, she knows exactly where the back of the net is. Disappointing for Wales, but you know, as we said, the warning signs are definitely there with the missed Denmark opportunities for the last 10 minutes.
Fischlot working hard, and well, the deflection ricochets out for a goal kick. Could have gone anywhere.
Good boat.
Yeah, well, that will encourage Gemma Granger. That is what is encouraged, that off the ball work.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes when a player does go, you know, and really busts out the line and works hard to get there, it gives everybody else a bit of encouragement. Everybody gets up. And look, you know, Wales are so much higher up the pitch now, trying to win possession of the ball back, you know, in an attacking area for them, if they can pinch it back in these, you know, and not let Denmark out easily.
It only takes one of those incidents of closing down to work in your favour. You can get rewarded for your hard work sometimes. Free kick. Kaylee Green penalised on this occasion.
Yeah, I think it was a shirt pull. She just got the wrong side. I think it was Ginger, the Juventus midfielder, just got the wrong side of her. So professional foul more than anything. She's lucky she just got the talking to and not the yellow card.
Veg back to Junjay Pedersen, and it's now with Christiansen. Here's her football in Sweden. Ingle pushing up forward here. Green trying to win the ball too. And Wales trying to force the Danes into a mistake, but they're very composed. Nice touch from Sorensen, but Wales do get the throw.
Yeah, interesting just to see the way that the Danish forwards are really interchanging in the positions. Difficult to pick up because no one's really playing right up against the centre half, especially when Harder's playing it. She likes to drop into those spaces, and it's about the communication then between the central defenders and the midfielders. But we're seeing Larsen coming across, and you know, Christiansen has tended to stay as a more of the left-sided forward, but they're interchanging, which is making it really difficult for Wales to pick them up and defend properly.
Fischlot and Harding desperate to win the ball back for Wales, but look at this one-touch passing, and it's Harder. And again, Denmark on the break with such purpose now. Sorensen has got options. First time cross into the middle, looking for Larsen. And it goes for a goal kick, not a corner, but the speed in which Denmark can break is something to behold.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about there, though, wasn't I, just before, in terms of the forwards, yeah, and them picking up. They're not playing right up against it, they're coming in a little bit deeper. And Harder, once again, she's a little bit like a false number 9. She's not playing up, she's coming deep constantly, and we've seen her there, you know, just getting the ball. For any youngster watching, you know, when you're picking up the ball, they try and get on the half turn straight away, so she can turn, she can see the pitch and spray that pass in then for Sorensen, who's been in good form for Everton this season, but a little bit too easy for the way that they just popped it around the Welsh players there. When you go, you need to get a lot tighter.
Veg, Green doing well to win the ball back, and a chance for Gemma Granger to show off some of her football skills. It's Gemma Granger, as we mentioned on Friday, vastly experienced in youth international football, big part of the FA setup in the Phil Neville era, of course. This is her first job as a senior number 1 in international football, and it's, you know, a sought-after job with a lot of applicants for that Wales post, and clearly Gemma Granger impressed the FAW enough to beat all the other candidates.
Great to see so many applicants, you know, from a lot of countries all over the world as well, and everybody needs their chance, you know, and I think Gemma Granger's waited patiently, and you know, I'm really liking what she's trying to bring to the Welsh game, allowing our more creative, technical players to get on the ball. I think it will be really beneficial in the long run. As I said, it's something that's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to happen straight away, but hopefully when it clicks, it clicks really well.
A risky pass that from Rhiannon Roberts to Evans. Luckily for Wales, Larsen couldn't take advantage, but Rowe has given it away.
Yeah, I just think, obviously, as I said about the possession-based football, and that's the way that we want to go forward. But sometimes you've got to learn when to play. Sometimes there are times of the game, or there's areas of the pitch that you don't want to be playing in. There's nothing wrong with sending the ball a little bit longer and turning the defence around and just releasing that pressure on yourself. We've been caught a couple of times now just trying to force the ball backwards when maybe that's not the right decision. As I said, there's nothing wrong with going a little bit longer and turning the defence.
Or just a simple pass. You look at that ball from Rhiannon Roberts. Of course, you want to see players express themselves, but you always have to ping a pass 20-30 yards and switch the play. This is better from Wales. Kayleigh Green could be in here. Good touch from Green. It's Fishlock straight at the goalkeeper, and that is by far Wales's best chance of the evening so far.
Yeah, good play. And what I've really liked about the Welsh play at times in this final third is that they haven't been afraid to do things one touch, two touch. Good turn there by Kayleigh Green, and instead of being selfish and taking the shot, she was really unselfish, played the ball in, great run in from midfield. And I know Jess Fishlock will be really disappointed there, because for someone of her quality, you'd expect her to be placing that low into the corners.
Well, Kayleigh Green has gone down here. Top marks to her, and for her part in the move. Very unselfishly, for a striker, held it up well and saw the run of Fishlock. It opened up beautifully for the Wales midfielder. I think Jess will probably be the first to admit she maybe opted for power rather than precision, but still she hit the target, and that is the main thing.
Yeah, I think when you're in those situations, it's about ensuring that you make the goalkeeper work, which she did do. But knowing somebody of her quality, she's played in numerous countries across the world, won countless titles as well, Champions League title. She'll be expecting better of herself there to place the ball into the corner, and low into the corners there, I think, as well, which makes it more difficult for the goalkeeper Christensen, who's only I think this is only a second or third cap. But again, promising signs, as you said, because we're higher up the pitch pressing to win those possession. I think Rachel Rowe was the one that started it by putting pressure on from the left back position, then carried forward with her run. And Kayleigh Green working hard then to make sure she's in a position and to win the ball back.
Well, I'm sure Gemma Granger will be keeping a close eye here on Kayleigh's progress. Limping a little bit, but I think she'll be okay. It does give the Wales bench the opportunity to get a few messages out to the players there, as you might have seen on our pictures.
Yeah, and I think that the depth of the Welsh squad's actually got a lot better over the last few years. I mentioned in commentary on Friday, the work that Jane Ludlow has done by bringing in these youngsters into this environment. It's just about exposing them to the game now, giving them more time, more minutes where possible. So there's enough options there on the bench, and with the way the game is growing in Wales participation-wise, hopefully that depth will continue to flourish and get better over time.
Christensen trying to find Harder. Good touch from Harder, clattered into by Harding. The referee has played the advantage, and that was the right decision. And Harding's got to be careful. She is on a yellow card. I don't think it was worthy of another one, but it was a physical challenge. But it was a 50-50 ball there to be won. Yeah,
it was there. It was definitely there to be won, and you could see why she's got in for it. She's apologised straight away, but just a little bit clumsy, knowing the situation that you're in. But then, as you say, if it's a 50-50 challenge, the ball's there to be won. Tash Harden isn't the type of player that's going to back out of a challenge.
Harder. There's the 1-2. Good play from Rhiannon Roberts, and Kayleigh Green may spot the run of Roberts again. Instead, it's back to Josie Green. It's a shame it comes to nothing, because Rhiannon Roberts had made a surging run.
Yeah, I think Kayleigh Green was caught in two minds there. Was it forcing the pass forward, or just playing safe and keeping possession of the ball? But she opted for the safe option with Josie Green. Then not getting the accuracy, not getting her foot around the ball to keep it in play, and that's why it's sliced off the side.
Harder has dropped deep here. He's played a lovely ball out to Trig Saveket, who we haven't mentioned much, Everton player.
Yeah, it's fascinating just watching Harder. She's a joy to watch because she floats around, and she just picks up positions that are really difficult to pick up. But I think what's important sometimes when you look at her is that sometimes she's not moving, she stays still, but the player's moving around her, and that's really difficult, as I said, to pick players like that up because she's constantly scanning her shoulders, just looking for a bit of space to be able to receive the ball in.
Denmark closing down O'Sullivan. Luckily for Wales, it falls to James. Kelly Green has dropped deep again. Green continues her run. He's got the option of Harding. A good recovery from Verge. Wales do have that throw.
Yeah, good play once again. One two-touch football. Wales able to play those passes quickly. I do think, though, that there was a pass in towards Fishlock from Kayleigh Green, maybe a little bit earlier instead of the pass down the line. But it still works out well for Wales.
Rhiannon Roberts of Liverpool spotted Kayleigh Green, who is battling for that ball. Talk about 100%er. She may be rewarded for her efforts here. Almost fed the ball into James. This is better from Wales. No risks taken by Rowe. And that's okay. It's all about keeping possession, building that confidence.
Yeah, and as you see, Denmark are happy enough to allow Wales to pop it around the back at times. But when we got forced back then, from an attacking position, Denmark was so quick to get out and to press higher, which forced Wales back all the way back to the goalkeeper then. So it was actually good defensive work from them.
Of course, in these friendlies, the number of substitutions that can be made, and Gemma Granger may be tempted to dip into that bench a bit later on. Of course, for Gemma Granger, it's still a case of finding the best 11, I think she knows the skeleton and the spine of her team, including this player here, Ingle. That is a lovely pinged pass up towards Fishlock. Kayleigh Green works hard to win it back. Holland. Rowe. Good ball. Harding's header. It was a wicked delivery. Fishlock.
Look at her, is that sometimes she's not moving, she stays still, but the player's moving around her, and that's really difficult, as I said, to pick players like that up because she's constantly scanning her shoulders, just looking for a bit of space to be able to receive the ball in.
Denmark closing down O'Sullivan. Luckily for Wales, it falls to James. Kelly Green has dropped deep again. Green continues her run. He's got the option of Harding. A good recovery from Verge. Wales do have that throw.
Yeah, good play once again. One two-touch football. Wales able to play those passes quickly. I do think, though, that there was a pass in towards Fishlock from Kayleigh Green, maybe a little bit earlier instead of the pass down the line. But it still works out well for Wales.
Rhiannon Roberts of Liverpool spotted Kayleigh Green, who is battling for that ball. Talk about 100%er. She may be rewarded for her efforts here. Almost fed the ball into James. This is better from Wales. No risks taken by Rowe. And that's okay. It's all about keeping possession, building that confidence.
Yeah, and as you see, Denmark are happy enough to allow Wales to pop it around the back at times. But when we got forced back then, from an attacking position, Denmark was so quick to get out and to press higher, which forced Wales back all the way back to the goalkeeper then. So it was actually good defensive work from them.
Of course, in these friendlies, the number of substitutions that can be made, and Gemma Granger may be tempted to dip into that bench a bit later on. Of course, for Gemma Granger, it's still a case of finding the best 11, I think she knows the skeleton and the spine of her team, including this player here, Ingle. That is a lovely pinged pass up towards Fishlock. Kayleigh Green works hard to win it back. Holland. Rowe. Good ball. Harding's header. It was a wicked delivery. Fishlock. Well, Wales are pushing hard. And here's Roberts. This is a good spell.
Yeah, it was a really important block there by Snell, because Fishlock had got it out of her feet as well, in a perfect area. But Wales just, trying to keep possession, be patient again, which is important to see. Just mistake there. I think Rhiannon Roberts looking, she's probably concentrating on the next pass instead of just control the ball first. But yeah, promising signs again from Wales at times when they're in that area. But then, as we've seen on Friday against Canada, just having the composure, the right weight of pass, the right decision in the final third.
It's gone out for a Wales throw. As Gemma Granger gives the ball to Rhiannon Roberts. As we close in on this first half, it is just the 1 goal so far, going Denmark's way. Courtesy of Harder. Wales responding well here. Holland spots Rowe. Good first time ball into Holland! It was a wonderful move, and Wales have looked very positive the last few minutes.
Well, that was a superb move. Started from the throw in here and worked our way across again. 1 touch, 2 touch passes. A lot of the Welsh players getting on it. Great. Kerry Holland actually was involved in the build up to that, and then made the run in and connected. That late run was really difficult for them to track. She made a good connection. I think she just opened her foot up a little bit too much, and that's why it went past the post. But again, promising signs.
James trying to battle for the ball again. Well, Denmark have been put under pressure the last few minutes, because the danger is that Wales could be caught out. Good recovery from Josie Green, just holding off Larson there, and that was an important bit of defending, because Wales can regroup here and just restructure at the back. But
it's just great to see the belief in the Welsh team growing, going forward, that they can impose themselves. And I think if you look at the World Cup qualifying group, Wales are ranked 3rd. We were ranked 3rd in the last World Cup group, when we ended up finishing just behind what we took it to the last game against England. I do think a lot of the teams in the top groups will really want to be avoiding Wales and this Welsh side, especially now if we're playing a more attacking, purposeful brand of football.
Well, Fishlock. I'm not sure if Boy had spotted Fishlock there. Good work by Harding. Well, the energy levels have been high, and Wales finishing this half very strongly here, finishing pretty much as they started it.
Yeah, they are, and again, I do think it's about mentality and belief. That you can go up against. I can remember playing for Wales years ago, a long time ago now, against Denmark, and it was a case of just damage limitation instead of, Wales have got the players and the squad and the depth starting to build now to be able to compete against these nations and get higher up the rankings, and it's just nice to see them having the belief to do that.
Larson's made the run. Josie Green, that's a push in the back surely. Yeah, Josie Green had beaten her for pace.
Yeah, and there's no need to be doing that either, because
it's so blatant.
If you allow Josie Green to control the ball there, you've got her pending in a really difficult area for her to get out of. Obviously you're high up as well, so just a case of putting the pressure on and then having the discipline to not dive in. You'd expect someone of Larson's quality to know better than that, really.
Free kick to be taken by O'Sullivan. So we move into the final 4 minutes of the 45, and now Wales would want a goal just before half-time, just to level things up. Kaylee Green, what a shift she's put in already, and she's won the throw. What a fan's favourite she is, Kaylee Green. I think fans love 100%ers, don't they? And of course she's got a lot more to her game than just her effort and her application, but my word, she puts a shift in.
Yeah, I think that's the old centre half in her coming out.
Drop short. Roberts wins the other throw. Rhiannon Roberts will be tempted for a longer throw here, although James has come short. Opts for Fishlock. Lovely pass, James. Oh, this is a great move. Back to James! Well, once again, Wales passing in triangles round the Danish defence.
Yeah, it's the movement off the ball, pass and move as well, as we've seen there, the give and go. A great ball across, actually through the legs. Good piece of skill from Fishlock. And then, you know, it's great to see Angharad James having the licence to be a little bit higher, because Sophie Ingle is playing in that more holding role, because you know, there's a lot more to Angharad James's game than just that defending role.
And it's James's corner. I think she opted for Fishlock on that edge of the penalty area. It has made its way to Fishlock. And it's back with James. And she looked for Fishlock. Those two are combining. They've played by each other in midfield for so long.
Yeah, I actually thought that was the wrong option there. I think Angharad James should have put it back in as well. Just a couple of her corners have been just caught, you know, on that first defender, not quite beating the first defender. So just will look to get a little bit more depth to those corners, those crosses in the second half. But yeah, they've got a great understanding of those, as have a lot of them, because a lot of them are playing at Reading together.
That's another attempted through ball from Rachel Rowe. We have seen on a number of occasions now Wales really getting behind this Danish defence. There was that Kerry Holland effort, and she's on the ball now. Back to James, and it was James's effort as well, which tested the Danes, and again James tried to find Fishlock. Good win back from Fishlock. Tremendous determination. Lost her footing, and she has won the free kick. I have to say, I think it probably was the right decision. Fishlock was...
Oh, it was certainly a free kick, wasn't it? She was tugging at his shirt, she was coming from behind as well. Yeah, just great work ethic. You've seen two players there, you know, covering from a big distance to win possession of the ball back. Kerry Holland firstly, and then Jess Fishlock coming from the other side, giving the Denmark player no options then, because obviously she had players pressing from both sides. And then, you know, I've said many times, when Fishlock's in that position, dribbling with the ball, she's so strong. It's not many players that are going to get her, and a really dangerous position here for Wales. Be interested to see what they do, because on Friday there was a planned set piece against Canada, which very nearly come off. Be interested to see if they've had a little bit more time on the training pitch to work on something else here.
Just confirmation, Gwenan, that Sorensen was booked there for Denmark. So she's got to be careful for the remainder of this game. But what a chance in what is 2 minutes of additional time being played here. And it's a good delivery. It was a wicked one across the face of goal. And Rachel Rowe's delivery, a right-footed delivery. All it needed was a nick.
That was a superb delivery. The precision, the pace. You know, and we always say put the ball into an area where players can attack, and we saw Fishlock, we saw Green attacking it. So fortunately they were just a little bit behind their runs, or a little bit too late. But yeah, great ball in a really dangerous area.
Well, Wales have really finished this half strongly, but it's goals which count, and it's Denmark who have managed to find the back of the net so far in this half. Well, what a boosting confidence it would be if Wales could somehow get on level terms. And I think Gemma Granger will be very encouraged. Katie Green just losing her foot. Falls flat on her face, back straight back up, and that's what she's all about. But I've been very impressed, I have to say, in the last few minutes. Yeah,
there's been some great. Probably the first 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes has been more of Wales, but obviously that mid-section is about doing this for 90 minutes, isn't it? The full game, and that's where our progression hopefully will develop over the next coming months and years.
Well, it's half-time, and the Danes have the lead. It hasn't been as comfortable, perhaps, as they would have liked, Denmark, but certainly their star player, Pernille Harder of Chelsea, did the business when she rounded Laura O'Sullivan and put the ball into the empty net. That was a blistering counter-attack by Denmark, but Wales have given as good as they've got. They've created a number of good chances, Gwenan. Kerry Holland with one half volley almost from a move that she started, but also as well some great interchange between Fishlock and James, which saw the ball end up in the side netting.
Yeah, it's really pleasing to see Wales actually creating opportunities against higher ranked teams. You know, we've had a few that we, as you mentioned, we had the Gemma Evans header, we had Kerry Holland's chance, we had Jess Fishlock's chance, that possible Angel James' chance as well. You know, gone are the days where, you know, Wales are relying on a one counter-attack chance. So obviously you need to improve in the final third. That's the aim of the game, that the better teams can put the ball away when they get the opportunities like we've seen. But promising signs again from the game this evening so far.
Yeah, promising signs. Wales have had chances, but it's advantage Denmark. They lead Wales in Cardiff by 1-0 at half-time. Welcome back to the Cardiff City Stadium, where Denmark have made a double substitution for this second half. They lead Wales by a 0-0, but it's perhaps, Gwen and Harris, a great level of respect to Gemma Granger's team that Denmark feel the need to make two changes. Troelsgaard and Svava coming onto the pitch in place of Christiansen and Ljungberg.
Yeah, certainly some good players coming onto the pitch, and Svava plays for Rosengård in Sweden. And you know, I think as we said at the end of the first half, you know, that in patches Wales played really well and were threatened, had their chances. It will be interesting to see, you know, I think a strengthened Danish team and how they perform against them in this second half.
And it's Wales who will kick off this second half, having played some very good football in that first period. And it's Kayleigh Green who gets things underway. No changes for Wales, we should point out. And an early chance again. Wales will be looking to be on the front foot again, much as they started and finished the first half here at the Cardiff City Stadium. And a first touch for Svava. And Harder fouled early on for the first free kick, given away by Rhiannon Roberts. Yeah, Wales will be looking to perform as they did for large parts of that first half.
Yeah, it's just about getting that consistency now and being able to perform at that level for longer periods of time, and hopefully then obviously, you know, for 90 minutes, well, 90-minute plus performances.
James wins it. Back to Boy. And Treege playing it to Saveka. And Holland forcing the ball all the way back to Christiansen. Gemma Evans with a header. Well, it's all about that conviction in the final third, isn't it? And that is what Denmark showed with that goal from Harder. But Wales hit the side netting. They certainly tested Christiansen. There was that header from Evans and shot from Fishlock at point-blank range.
Yeah, going forward, there's been massive improvements, isn't there, in these two friendlies. But I just think defensively, you know, because there's some new personnel, we'll just have to ensure that they are as resolute as they possibly can, defending from the front like that, as well as really important like Kerry Holland. But you know, I think we've still got Hayley Ladd to come back in. I think she will slot into that Welsh defence, possibly at the expense of Josie Green here, who isn't naturally a defender. And I think at times has been a little bit nervy playing there. She's more of a ball-playing midfielder. It's a big ask for her to come into that role. But yeah, I think Hayley Ladd will probably slot in, and that might give Wales a little bit more stability defensively going forward then, because at times they have looked a little nervy.
Well, Treege has gone down here it was after the challenge from Rachel Rowe. I should point out that Rachel Rowe went straight across to see if she was okay. But members of the Danish bench have zipped across to see, and it was a case of her falling awkwardly. I must say, we don't have the benefit of a replay screen, unfortunately, this evening.
I don't think the audience at home have got replays either. So I think it was more the way that she fell over from following on from that tackle from Kerry Holland.
Was look at the reaction of the Danish bench. They were immediately concerned, and she did go down straight away. I must say, good sportsmanship from Rachel Rowe as well. And Denmark could be forced into a third change here. This could be a level of disruption that Lars Sondergaard, the Danish manager, would have wanted to go without. Just hobbling perhaps back onto the pitch tree here. Incidentally, it is a Danish throw, and it will be taken on this near side Saveka of Everton. Denmark temporarily down to 10, but very much on the attack here. They can't take advantage of the throw, and Fishlock can break away for Wales. Rowe, well, she spotted the pass of Harding. And Kayleigh Green had made the run, and Harding on that far side is another option. Well, Rachel Rowe is going to go for it now. Well, she switches it to Rhiannon Roberts. And here is Harding. Ingle almost putting it through to Fishlock. Svava. And that was a tight line, but Harder was onside.
Yeah,
Harder, it reminds me of what Jermaine Defoe used to do, just really play off the shoulder of the last defender.
Yeah, it's about curving the run as well, so running across the line to then go forward. But she was onside. I think the two centre halves had pushed up, so two central defenders in Josie Green and Gemma Evans, but the left back, who's actually looking all the way across, is playing her onside then. And luckily, the pass, from a Welsh perspective, the pass was not very accurate and ran out, because if that had been played through towards goal, you know, Wales would have been in trouble, certainly with the quality of Harder on the end of it.
Josie Green. Optimistic ball, and Holland could be in here. Good recovery from Trig.
Yeah, we've seen less maybe of Holland this evening than we saw on Friday, where I thought she had a really good game. But at times, she's a lot quicker than, she's quite deceptively quick.
Great play from Rowe here. Sorry, Gwen, and it's high-paced stuff, high-intensity stuff, and end-to-end. Harder. Tremendous tackle, but Harder still going. And Kaylee Green helping out the defence, and it's now Harding on the ball. Well, there's a real tenacity about Wales as well as composure on the ball.
I think they've always had that tenacious side, you know, Wales, as any player that's representing the country, is going to be passionate, but I think there's something, obviously I'm biased here, but a little bit more special about putting on that Wales shirt that brings out the best of all these players, and as I said, that passion coming through. But for me, there, I just, some maybe improvement signs of, as I said, from where we've been before in terms of winning the ball back, but then what we used to maybe do was go a lot longer straight away. Instead now just maintaining the patience to go back and start again, knowing that we didn't have many options going forward.
Well, they're the generation of players who got a lot more eyes on the product of women's football in Wales, and certainly captured the public's imagination by almost qualifying for the World Cup. I think many of them will be the first to admit that the proof will be getting to a major finals, and that is the ultimate ambition.
Oh, certainly on the pitch, that is the ambition of all, and that's why we've seen some of the more senior players staying on for another campaign, because they do believe that they can get there.
Kaylee Green is one of those. Supported by James, she's going to go it alone. Nice cross in towards Fishlock. Well, Denmark again under pressure from Wales. Ingle out to Holland. Ingle again. Well, Wales are getting bodies into the box.
Yeah, just that time.
This is the danger. And Svava up against Roberts. Well, good play from Roberts. Really stood her ground well. Didn't dive in.
No, just going back to that half chance there in terms of the cross in was, possibly could have had a little bit more depth on it. The problem is when the Welsh players are static, it's hard to pick out. You want to be running onto the ball.
Svava's cross, Harder. Well, she just appeared from nowhere. Brilliantly timed run.
Great header, mind in there. Brave header across. Wales can start again then because of that good clearance.
Rose long ball. Well, Wales are waiting for the flag. It has stayed down. Well, it was a late flag. It was a risky game that Wales were playing.
That was close, because that was right in front of us. I actually thought she timed that well. I thought that she'd stayed on there. I think just the reactions of the Welsh defenders, because they basically stopped. And I was about to say, you have to play the whistle, keep going. I think that may have played in the lineswoman's decision, but it was definitely tight, and it's risky there to step up in that position when you're so high up the pitch.
Yeah, they all just stopped and glanced at the assistant, and it could have gone either way if they influenced the decision in the end, because it was mightily close. But that is the danger. We said that in the first half. Denmark catching Wales on the break. James. Fishlock. Trying to put in Harding.
Yeah, just going back to the point you mentioned earlier, Simon, about, you know, the Welsh players capturing the audience. They certainly did do that, and you know, the FAW have got a really big target of trying to improve the numbers of you know, players that are registered. You know, they want to. Their aim is to try and get, well, I think it was by 2024, 20,000 females playing. And you know, off the back of this, which is, you know, big target, but off the back of the success of that 2008, well, 17-18 World Cup qualifying, you know, the increase was in a space of a year was close to 20%, and with the Huddle centres as well at the minute, there's a lot of positivity around Welsh football. I seen earlier that Cardiff Cosmopolitan Huddle Centre, you know, had over 100 girls signed up. That's massive, you know, just in terms of increasing that participation, that enjoyment, that engagement at a younger age. You know, and these girls are role models for that.
Yeah, they become household names, no doubt about that. By the way, that was Roberts with the clearance. And a good touch, a vital touch as well from Josie Green. As again, Harder was lurking. But it is just 1-0, and tell you what, Denmark know that they've been in a game. The next step for Wales is to find the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's the hardest challenge in the game anyway. And I would say that as a forward, because as a former forward. But no, that, you know, that is the point that Wales have to develop, that final bit now in the final third, that quality, that right decision, the right way to pass, and composure in those areas against the goalkeeper.
Fishlock forcing the mistake. Ingle, nice ball to Holland. It's a foul, and Wales want to take it quickly. Ingle wants to take it quickly. Trollsgaard with a rash challenge. But now a chance for Wales to get red jerseys in that Danish box. Rachel Rowe has put in some beautiful crosses so far this evening. Will we see another one? Killing away, comes out to Fishlock. Oh, straight at the goalkeeper. And Gemma Evans lashed at it. And it wasn't a bad attempt at all, it was on target. And either side of the keeper, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, certainly. That's the second opportunity she's had now. She wouldn't possibly, but that's the, you know, the positives of sending your centre halves forward. You know, just having a big presence in the area, and the rebound fell to her. And yeah, you just wanted to place that low and hard into the corners.
Rose cross. Wales growing in confidence now. It really has been an encouraging display. Harding. Roberts. They've seen the gap. To James! Good, strong hand from Christensen. And Wales again coming close to equalising here at the Cardiff City Stadium.
Yeah, good initial build-up play then by Rhiannon Roberts, driving inside, saw the space, drove inside, drew the player to her and played a good way to pass across to Angharad James. It was teed up perfectly for her, and you could see what she was trying to do, trying to bend it into the far corner over the goalkeeper, but Christensen just had a strong hand to it.
And James wants to take this corner quickly. Another decent delivery towards Roberts. Here's Ingle. It's a real up and under towards Evans. Fishlock first time. Didn't get the contact, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Denmark had the free kick, but Wales are getting closer.
Yeah, that was a really good attempt there. As I said, you could see exactly what Angharad James was trying to do, just trying to send it back into that far corner with a lot of curl on it. But fair play, you know, Christian had a strong hand to it. I would have liked to have seen the ball back in then by Sophie Ingle just whipped in a little bit more, with a little bit more pace, again in an area that the players can attack instead of just lofted back in. I think that's a difficult one for any player to generate power.
The voice of Gwennan Harris here on BBC Sport, this online stream, and Wales certainly putting in a performance which I'm not sure we expected, because Fishlock is opening up again. James, Harding, good first time ball, Fishlock! And Wales deserved that. Well, what a well-worked goal it was. On the volley, and it was a move that Fishlock started, and a move that she finished with great precision and skill.
Yeah, and you can't say that Wales didn't deserve that, or that goal wasn't coming. They've been superb at the start of this second half. As you said, Fishlock started it there by getting in an area. This is what the benefit of having a player of her quality in a higher position, just playing in between the lines of the defence and the midfield. She picks it up, she originally loses it, but it's strength to win it back, a little bit of skill around the corner, releases then Angharad James and Natasha Harding, and she carries on with that run. That's the important thing. She's got that desire to get in the box. Good ball across by Tash Harding as well. Good weight of the pass, good height on it. And you know, Fishlock, she missed that one in the second half, she's not going to miss two. Great composure to just place it down low this time into the corner, and Wales, as I said, very much deserving of that goal.
Well, I hate to put a dampener on things, but Jess Fishlock went down there. She is back on her feet, and she's hobbling a bit.
Oh, there's no way that she's coming off the pitch, no chance.
Oh, I'm not suggesting that. What a finish it was, and what a move it was. And objectively speaking, you have to say Wales deserved it.
Oh, I certainly believe that they do. You know, the chances that we've had as well. You know, we've wasted quite a few, and I think everybody would have been very frustrated if you know, we hadn't got something from this game. There's still half an hour to play, but in terms of getting a goal, you know, we had a few chances against Canada on Friday, but as I said, lacked that composure in front of goal, and this time, you know, as I said, the desire of Fishlock to get in the box, to get on the end of that cross, and then when she got there, to ensure that she had the composure, she just steadied her feet to place it down low, which is difficult for the goalkeepers to get to.
Harding continues to put pressure on Christiansen. The Danes, well, passing their way out of trouble very comfortably now, although they have given it away, and here's Fishlock again, the goal scorer. James, it's there to be hit. Back to Fishlock. Well, Wales are playing with a degree of confidence now, and I think we did say in the last campaign a lot, and I worked with you, Gwen, on for most of the games. You know, defensively, obviously Wales were very strong at times, but perhaps there wasn't those risks going forward, the invention going forward, but we've certainly seen a lot of that this evening. Yeah,
we have. I just think at the time, you know, in maybe the systems that we were playing, there wasn't the freedom and the attacking licence for players to go forward, because obviously we were in such a defensive system and a defensive mindset as well, in terms of you know, trying to steal a goal, so trying to nick a goal on the counter, whereas we've got the players technically to be able to go and impose ourselves, like we've seen from that goal. You know, a lot of one-touch, two-touch passes, as we've seen from the chances created, and as well the placement of the players higher up the pitch is allowing them to win possession of the ball back in more attacking areas, which is obviously more threatening then.
Fishlock. Let's get the option of James. Finds Kelly Green. Good play from Ingle. Still with Ingle. There was a big shout for a penalty behind us from our Radio Cymru colleagues.
Well, I don't think she was shouting for a penalty. I think Kath Morgan was shouting at Sophie Ingle to to the floor. She's obviously she was a defender herself as well, so she would have been fuming if that was given against her. But no, again, you know, just Wales, because they're in more, we've got more of an attacking system, they're higher up the pitch. Being able to press higher is obviously allowing them to win possession of the ball higher up again.
I should say that was our Cymru View team, and this game available in the Welsh language as well on the Cymru View website with Owain Clear and Kath Morgan. Gwennon Harris and myself, Simon Davis, enjoying what we're seeing so far. 1-1. Game at a fascinating stage. And I have to say, Denmark, the higher ranked team, have not been in it this second half so far.
No, I think the only time that there have been a few is just when Wales have been caught napping a little bit, and we've had these runs in behind because of Welsh defence. Maybe a miscommunication, or they've pressed it a little bit too high.
Spava too harder, and she wins the corner kick.
That's really good defending there by Josie Green, who, as we said, is not a natural central defender. She's a midfielder, but just being able to get her body in the right position there as Pernille Harder's running at her, that's the worst place to be in as a defender, but ensuring that she tries to show it onto her left foot, and she remains balanced, got quick footwork then, so as she goes past it, to be able to react to intercept and send it out for a corner.
It is a packed 6-yard area, as you can see, and Laura O'Sullivan hasn't got much room to manoeuvre here, so she is under pressure if the delivery's an in-swinger. In it comes. Good defending from Gemma Evans, and thankfully for Wales, they get the decision, they get the free kick, and an acknowledgement there from Rhiannon Roberts to Gemma Evans there.
Yeah, she's done really well in those areas on a few occasions this evening, and she was the same on Friday as well. Really brave, making sure that she's attacking the ball as well, not waiting for it to come to her. I'm winning the foul there, and obviously, allowing Wales to release out of that dangerous situation.
O'Sullivan, who's rarely been tested in this second half. But that could change. Sorensen holds the ball up well. And Treege was looking for the return pass.
Yeah, important recovery originally by Rachel Rowe, because she just got caught the wrong side. She was ball watching the player. Treege got the wrong side of her from a Welsh perspective, but she did well with her recovery run to get back into position.
Good play from Rowe, and Wales just passing around in triangles. It's lovely to watch at times.
Yeah, I think you could just see as well the belief in the players just growing.
And it's not possession for possession's sake either.
No, it's really
purpose.
Yeah, and that's what I said the same on Friday evening. Just, it's really pleasing to see the players being brave in possession, wanting to pass forward, pass through the lines as well. That's really important for us if we are going to be able to create opportunities against the good teams. Being direct at times, which we've seen on numerous occasions this evening already.
Ingle pokes it through to Kaylee Green. James. And Roberts has got room to cross here. That's not a bad delivery at all. Bit over the head of Fishlock, but Natasha Harding has it. Rowe. Oh, heavy touch. Such a shame.
Yeah, it was. I'm not quite sure what she was trying to do there. I don't know if it was just a little piece of skill. Originally, the pass into it was actually on her wrong side, but in a good area of the pitch like that, you have to do better. You have to make sure that you're taking care of the ball.
I'll say the Welsh FA have decorated the empty Cardiff City Stadium really well. You'll notice those flags to the left-hand goal from the position we see it anyway, which is the same as you at home. Flags from Merthyr and Aberystwyth and North Wales. Big Welsh dragon, of course, on that Canton end. And how we would love to see supporters here. Now here's an interesting one again. Denmark. Now this is a friendly, of course, so you always expect an element of this, but they're making a double change again. And I'm sure their manager, Lars Sondergaard, will be fully aware that his team haven't been in this in the second half.
No, from the game against Canada on Friday as well, Wales were far better in the second half, and I don't think we've seen the same. Wales at times were good in the first half, but it was just that intensity, wanted to play quickly. Again, being braver in possession, being tidier in possession as well at times in the second half, which has forced the Danes, back, and they haven't been able to get on the ball. Wales have definitely been on the front foot.
Gemma Evans. Opting for the long pass, looking for the run of either Kaylee Green or Harding. Ingle, brilliant composure, and then just delivers an exquisite pass to Harding. Yeah. That's what she brings you in midfield, absolute class.
Yeah, just class and composure, and she did that with a weaker foot as well. Even though I wouldn't say she has a weaker foot, because they're both just as good as each other. But
I think with Sophie Winnie, you play her as a centre back, and of course she brings such poise and leadership, but you see a totally different side of her game when she's in that central midfield.
Yeah, and that's why I think it is a real purposeful move from Gemma Grange, that she wants to play Sophie in the midfield and kind of build the team around her this, because when she's in that position, she's just pulling the strings, and as we've seen there, just on the verge of losing possession, but just so calm to just use a little bit of skill, which she's made to look really easy, which it really isn't, with her so-called weaker foot, to start the attack for Wales again. And as I said, I think it was Hayley Ladd still coming back in, probably into the central defence, and Gemma Evans coming across. It allows her into the midfield.
Rose free kick, looking for Roberts on that far post. Goes out for a corner. There may be time for Denmark to make two changes here. Olivia Holt and Caroline Moller poised to come on.
I think they'll probably wait. You don't see them make substitutions when it's a corner.
Disrupt things, especially with Wales looking very dangerous in attack so far. James goes across to take this one. Better delivery needed this time, but plenty to aim for. 20 minutes left. Wales in the ascendancy. Good header from Fishlock, and straight into the hands of Christensen. Well, that was clearly a well-worked corner kick once again.
Oh, I'm not so sure, if I'm honest. She obviously Fishlock's made the run off, but I would imagine that the ball was looking to go further back. But Fishlock actually did well there, because it's really hard to generate any pace and power, especially when the ball is in behind you, like a little bit behind you, like it was there. And she did well to get the power that she did on it, but obviously wasn't threatening to Christensen in the Danish goal.
This has been an excellent Wales performance, and they'll be looking for a big 20 minutes here. They can get some sort of result. What confidence this brings to the setup in Gemma Grange's second game in charge. And of course, she's a manager still finding her feet. And here come the two changes, Gwenan. Pernilla Harder is going off, and I don't think there'll be too many Welsh supporters who'll be too sorry to see that.
No, to be totally honest.
With respect.
It's quite surprising actually, because they don't tend to bring her off often, but obviously she's had a big season for Chelsea, playing regularly. She played against the Republic of Ireland, which she had a full game there as well.
So Moller and Holt on. Holt is only 19 years of age, and Caroline Moller of Inter. So plenty of talent again coming on. But here go Wales again, showing talent of their own. Harding. Lovely run from Kaylee Green. That's okay, that's a corner.
Oh, she did really well there, Kaylee Green, to win the flick on. When you're playing as that central centre forward, it's really important that you hold the ball up, you bring other players into play, whether they're running from deep or running from behind. She's just got a really important flick on to the oncoming runner of Natasha Harding then.
Well, James has the option of Fishlock again with a short corner, but in it goes. Decent corner from James, keeper's committed herself. Rolls to Harding. Option of Roberts. It was Ingles' cross, in fact. Rachel Rowe and Fishlock trying to win it back. Sonters and Harry James. Wales showing great commitment to the cause. That's a late challenge. I think Kerry Holland may be punished for this. But late challenge, and probably will be a yellow card. Yep.
I think she had a right to go in for that. It was more of a 50-50. It was just that because the leg was actually dangling into the tackle is why it probably looks worse than it was. But go back to the corner, much better delivery from Angharad James, just because it's gone deeper, it's enticing the goalkeeper to come out and have a stab at it. And obviously, you know, if she's going to make a mistake then, or she's going to come out and maybe not read the flight of the ball, obviously it gives Wales more options, and again it's more threatening, whereas in the first half a couple of those balls were just struggling to get past the first defender, which wasn't causing any problems.
Oh, Holland's pass to Ingle didn't make it. Here's Holt, first touch for the 19-year-old. Sorensen of Everton. Holt battling with Rowe on this near side. Play from Snurl. Svava. Snurler again. This is the first period of possession that we've seen from Denmark for quite some time in this game. And it's taken until 75 minutes. Taken half an hour in this second half to see the Danes get going. Fishlock battling hard again.
Yeah, I think we just see the discipline there of the Welsh defence. As I said, move from a 5 to a 4. So you've got at times then when they're going defensively, they're going into a 4-4-1-1 with Fishlock sometimes even dropping back into the midfield as well. You know, and just ensuring that there's no big gaps between players there, that they're making it really condensed, really tight, and they're trying to force the Danes to play out wide, so not to play through the Welsh team.
Gemma Evans. Back to O'Sullivan. Remember, the draw for World Cup qualifying takes place on April the 30th. That is a fortnight on Friday. Well, inevitably, these things, there are teams you want to avoid,
yeah.
But
again, you know, Wales will take huge confidence. I know there's 15 minutes left, but you know, Denmark will probably be in the second pot, but they're a pot 1 nation.
Well, it's a challenge from Evans on Holt, and that could be another yellow card for Wales. Yet Gemma Evans goes in the book. Good play from Holt. Yeah, beaten Evans for pace.
Just enticed her in, and then just knocked it round the corner, used her pace well. I think there could be. It looks like Elise Hughes is warming up for Wales, but yeah, just going back to that in terms of Denmark are I believe the top ranked side in the second pot, but everybody knows that their quality, they are arguably a top ranked pool 1 nation. So if Wales can perform like this, knowing that we're going to be ranked 3rd in the group, that is going to give huge amounts of confidence and belief going forward that yet again they can, like they did in the last World Cup campaign with England and Russia, they can compete and take it all the way.
Sorensen just eyeing up what's in front of her here. There's a one-woman wall for Wales with Jess Fishlock standing in the way, but it is a packed penalty area, and it's a left-footed cross. Good punch from Laura O'Sullivan, good goalkeeping.
Yeah, she read that really well, and a good strong punch to clear it away from the danger area as well. She hasn't been called into action much in the second half, so it's a test of her concentration levels, her ability to keep performing under pressure situations. She did well there.
And there will be further changes from Denmark here, but as said by you a few moments ago, Gwenan Elise Hughes about to come on.
Yeah, and I think Wales just 78 minutes with the same players, just have a little bit of freshness, bring some new players as the Danes have done and brought them back into the game, a few fresh legs now.
Elise Hughes, 19 years of age, on loan from Everton at Blackburn at the moment, and Kerry Holland, who has certainly not disgraced herself again on her second cap. Another very promising young player, and has earned that handshake from Gemma Granger.
Yeah, a hugely promising player for Wales. I thought she was superb on Friday. You know, a different role this evening, a little bit more quieter. She's not in the hustle bustle of the midfield, but has been effective. And good to see Elise Hughes getting an opportunity. You know, she's been used as a centre forward, she's been used as a centre half. I do believe her best position is as a central forward, and you know, hopefully she can give us a good platform to work off, like Kaylee Green has done.
From Tree plays it to Holt. Silky skills from Holt, and Sorensen takes on Harding. Doesn't get round Harding. And it's a throw-in, not a corner, and there will be a double change for Denmark. And coming on will be Sarah Holmgaard. And Page is coming off. And Katrine Kull is coming on in place of Emma Snurler. Well, this is a friendly, and Denmark clearly looking to utilise as much of their squad as possible, but I think for Gemma Granger it's much more of an exercise of trying to find her best 11 in a short period of time. She hasn't been in the job long, so
yeah,
sort of different goals really.
No, I agree. I'd love to see, you know, a few of the youngsters given an opportunity. I think we've got some really promising youngsters coming through. You know, I've mentioned before the likes of Carrie Jones, but again, you know, when you're this close to getting a big scalp really, with a great performance, you can understand, you know, trying to just keep the intensity with the experience of these players on. But
well, Sullivan came out, committed herself, she's off her line, and that was clever play from Katrine Kull, her first touch in fact, and spotted O'Sullivan off her line and just tried to lob it back in, but luckily for Wales it went wide. 9 minutes to go, Gwenan, and it's been an excellent performance so far.
Yeah, it really has. Just going back to that point in terms of just getting a little bit of freshness on, and just to ensure, you know, that we get back on the front foot, because the Danes have definitely come back into this game since they've made the changes and had a little bit more freshness to their team.
We'll roll on that draw, I say. A fortnight on Friday. And I assume, I should have double checked this in fact, but I assume it's all being taken place virtually because of the COVID protocols. It's probably a good thing, because these things tend to drag on and on, don't they, these draws? But the most important thing for Wales fans is knowing what trips could be ahead possibly to support the team.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, Wales will get an okay draw. You'd really want to avoid Denmark in the second pool if possible. But again, as I said, you know, just the confidence that a performance like this will breed is massive.
Svava has made the run, good header from Roberts. Kull.
Big test for this young, inexperienced in one way Welsh defence now for this last 10 minutes, because the Danes are definitely pushing more bodies forward, and as I said, you know, some players playing in there for the first time.
Ball in towards Moller. It was good defending, and Ingle.
Yeah, and she's done that twice now, Josie Green. As I said, you know, first time she's playing in defence there, but read the situation well and cleared it to safety as well. I think she had the header, you know, a minute previously.
Elise Hughes missing out there. No, she'd like to score her first goal for Wales. James. Wales under the cosh here a bit. They have to work hard. I suppose this was to be expected. Denmark's quality.
They've got to work hard, but when they get possession of the ball like that, then, you know, they have to make sure that it sticks. Because when we're under pressure like this for larger periods, like we were against Canada, like we will be against some of the top nations, you have to make sure that you give the players that behind you a little bit of a break by ensuring that you keep possession of the ball, bring someone else into play.
Trollsgaard. Good vision. And Holmgaard has found Svava. Holmgaard again. Every single outfield player, it seems, just camped inside the Wales half here. Sorensen again threatening this defence. Good touch around James, still with Sorensen, and Gemma Evans once again with an important touch.
Yeah, she's read the delivery really well. They got herself in a good position at that front post. But I was just looking across at one point there, and you had 6 Danish players up against 4 Welsh players. So just the midfield just need to ensure again that they're tracking the runners. But when Wales do get possession, as I said, then that they can get higher up the pitch, don't drop so deep, inviting that pressure back on themselves.
And it is pressure. 5 minutes. And it is a friendly, but a result would mean so much. Some sort of positive result. Rowe on that front post with a header away. Just avoiding defeat would be psychologically such a big boost. And it would really kickstart the Gemma Granger era, you feel. And I think for the first time tonight we've seen the way that this new Wales perhaps want to play. And I must say at times it's looked great. Good play from Kayleigh Green. Fishlock's got room now. Green continues the run. Fishlock's got options and tries to find Ellis Hughes.
Yeah, just that's where we need a little bit more freshness, fresh legs there, just to make sure that we have got runners up to be able to support. Because if you've seen Fishlock pick it up again in a great area, good passing by Sophie Ingle, being brave, passing forward straight away instead of going sideways, backwards. But then no options and is forced into a long ball. So I think maybe just a couple more changes just to bring those legs onto support. But again, you know, good player, and Wales are looking to go forward, so not just settling for a draw.
Rowe. James. Wants his pass to Rachel Rowe, continue to run.
Oh, that's a great pass in there. First time being able to open your body up by Sophie Ingle and just see the vision to see that and to actually get it through you know, a very small area. Rachel Rowe made a great run from left back. Look now who's back in the left back position, Jess Fishlock. You know, just showing how the team work for each other and just the understanding of positions. Well, she was worried then, mind, when that ball went over the top. Thankfully, a little bit too much pace on it.
Nearly 3 minutes to go of the 90. And a quick stoppage here. Kayleigh Green taking a bit of a breather, I think, as well. Regardless of how this game pans out, who's impressed you tonight, Gwenan, from a Wales point of view?
Well, I think you've got to say the whole team. You know, with a performance like this, it's hard to pick out maybe just one individual. I think, you know, just the way that Wales are wanting to play and developing now, that in terms of, as you said, more possession, higher up the pitch, and playing those passes through as well, getting people like Jess Fishlock in that number 10 role on the ball, who's able to create. So important. You know, I think they've all been really good this evening. Good tempo, you know, being quick to press down, but then being good on the ball, calm and collected, much better than they were on Friday. It's been a really pleasing and impressive performance, and hopefully they can carry that on for the 3 minutes and the extra on top, and you know, try and snatch a winner as well. Why not go for it with this positive mindset that we have?
And just a shame there are no fans, the red wall as they call them. None of them are here to see it, but we thank you for your company on this stream in these closing moments. Hopefully sooner rather than later, the red ball is back, watching the Wales women's team. Laura O'Sullivan. Well, no time for risks now, just a case of managing this game, and a 1-1 draw is an excellent result if Wales can hold on here. Or as Gwenan says, maybe even nick the win. But it's Denmark who have put a bit of pressure on Wales in these closing moments, and you could see Lars Sondergaard on the Danish bench wanting to up this tempo. He wants this victory, and it's a ball over the top. The flag has stayed down on this occasion. Well, there's been a few occasions where Wales have glanced to the assistant ref, and Caroline Moller had beaten the offside trap there.
Yeah, she was on again, but good to see Wales not dropping too deep and inviting the pressure, but at the same time still need to be careful with those runs in, that the tracking runs, and Laura Sullivan maybe just starting position or making sure that she's communicating. You know, her starting position was better there than in the first half because she got to the ball obviously before the oncoming player, but you know, just still a few warning signs there, just ensuring the Welsh defence that they're communicating well together, that they're sticking in a line in those situations, not having one like a dog leg one that's staying behind obviously and playing them onside.
Well, it's all very positive. The weather's getting better. People are getting vaccinated as well. It's been a bleak winter and football has kept many of us going. I'm sure it's the same for you at home, and it's really nice to see the Wales women's team performing, lifting the spirits of the nation as ball goes up to Fishlock, and they could win this, you know. Rowe has made the run. Well, if she had got into that box, she's capable of finishing, as we saw against Belarus in Borisov in the last qualifying campaign. Here she is again, Rachel Rowe. 5 minutes of added time, and why can't Wales win this?
Yeah, and again, you know, pleasing just to see with 5 minutes added on time then. You know, Wales are going for it, not settling and running to the corner and settling for it. In a friendly, why not go for something like, if it was a qualifying campaign or maybe you're away from home, fair enough, you settle for the point and shut up shop and just do anything you can, but
pull pass to Harding. Wales have just got to see this game out now. Josie Green wins the free kick. A brave tackle that from someone who has really put in a good performance tonight.
Yeah, I think the opening 20 minutes she looked really nervy, a bit shaky in that position. But since then she's been outstanding in coming out and taking out. She's made some really important clearances, some blocks as well in their positioning has been good, considering, as I said, you know, someone that's not you know, a natural defender. Just need to ensure that we carry that on now for the next 5 minutes.
Sorensen took the ball well, and as Van Holt. Wales are going to be careful here. Svava wants it over on that far side. She's got it. Moller has continued her run down that left channel. Josie Green, quiet position. Svava into the middle. Good header again from Gemma Evans. Danger not away yet for Wales. And it comes towards Sorensen. And the eventual shot from Holt, ambitious, and over the bar of O'Sullivan's goal.
Yeah, players just being caught ball watching there, and that's why we had the gaps in between originally, and then the same again. And it was actually, I think it was Sorensen was making the run on the back post, and if Trossington was able to reach her there, Wales would have been in trouble, because there was two Danish players to one. I think it was Natasha Harding coming back to defend. But thankfully, from a Welsh perspective, you know, it's gone over the bar. You know, if the result stays like this, they most certainly have deserved. You know, I think they've been a far better team in the second half, and were for periods of the first half as well.
Absolutely. And Gemma Evans, who I think has been one of the stand-up performers, playing a safe header back to O'Sullivan. And that will please Gemma Granger. OK, not the clean sheet, but OK, that was an exceptional finish from Harder, who rounded the goalkeeper. But on the whole, across the board, Wales have put in performances. Harding working hard. Not fouled. And look at that, Jess Fishlock, even this deep into injury time, leading by example. Not the captain, but certainly one of the leaders in this team.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody knows that. You know, she leads by her performances.
Roberts opted not to go back to the goalkeeper. Well, in the end, did get distance on the clearance, but
no, that was the right decision. Definitely, you know, with
she didn't know what was behind her, did she?
No, with Svava behind her there, she just, you know, if in doubt, clear it out.
Specker trying to find Sorensen. Rachel Rowe with an important header. James completed the clearance. Sorensen again. Savaka wins the throw. Important stuff now for Wales to hold on. Ingle there helping out. Up to Elise Hughes. And all eyes now on the English referee, Stacey Pearson. Well, Denmark, to their credit, really pushing Wales hard here. Rowe with a header. Well read by Holt. She's impressed since coming on. Some good footwork, Olivia Holt. Comes the cross from Trollsgaard. And O'Sullivan with a comfortable catch. And that may well be that.
You'd think that'd be, she's had a look at her whistle a couple of times. Good take there, you know, under pressure from Moller, but you know, when called upon for those high deliveries or those crosses, she's been really solid, Laura O'Sullivan, this evening.
We still await that final whistle. Is there a last chance for Denmark? Gemma Evans battling to get the ball. Rachel Rowe with a big clearance away. And it's Elise Hughes here, who's in a foot race to try and win it for Wales. Well, it's an offside and a last free kick for the visitors. I think a few of us in the press box thought that was the full-time whistle. It is now. Oh, an excellent result for Wales. And more importantly, an excellent performance in Gemma Granger's second game in charge. Jess Fishlock got the equaliser with a superb volley in the second half. And roll on that draw on April the 30th. Wales go into World Cup qualifying with a bit of confidence.
Yeah, I can honestly say that is the best performance I've seen from a Welsh team. Obviously played for a while, but I've been watching now for years, and they were absolutely outstanding in certain areas. You know, the intensity that they played at, you know, they were always wanted to play quick, you know, keep that intensity high, the way that they pressed, and pressed, you know, really put them under pressure, winning possession of the ball higher up, but then were really tidy, really good, but really incisive at times in possession. Yes, we've wasted some opportunities and I've had the opportunity to win the game, but what a goal to score as well, and to be competing and getting performances against nations that are ranked, you know, 20 places above us, and you know, these were European finalists, says a huge amount about the performance this evening, but again the positivity, the direction that Wales are going in is really exciting.
Yeah, the European finalists and the team ranked 14th in the world, at times outplayed at the Cardiff City Stadium, and Wales will be delighted with this one. It's finished. Wales 1, Denmark 1.